Well, welcome to the Move the Stairs. This is episode 94, and we're recording on Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. And we're glad you're here joining us for today's exciting conversation.
You know, Mitch, we are so excited today to welcome Joe Apfelbaum, a partner in EVAY and Evergreen Training, to talk about how he builds brand protection into his business. You know, all you hear about today is AI everywhere and how companies are using it. So we want to know, is this something business owners should embrace? Should they fear? Should they walk with trepidation? We're all learning as we go, but Joe is an expert and he's here to tell us how he has taken the facts that he has about AI and turned it into a customer loyalty strategy.
Sounds good. With all these questions about AI, and there are a lot out there, right? Joe has had his share of media interviews, and he has a particular story about an interview on Fox Business, in fact, and how media training came in very handy. And he'll talk about that. We always go into our insider media relations segment.
And then finally, Joe is going to talk about where is AI headed, the need for continuing education within AI and how that can help you build a resilient brand. So without further ado, let's welcome Joe into the podcast. Joe, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the Move the Stairs podcast. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on the program. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Joe Apfelbaum. I'm the CEO of Ajax Union. I started my marketing agency about 15 years ago. It was as a result of people telling me, Joe, nobody's coming to my website. You said if you build it, they will come. I was a web developer and I was developing websites for people for many years. And I built hundreds of websites for people, but people had the same complaint over and over and over. You said if you build it, they will come. Nobody came. What do you do? So I had to learn how to reverse engineer Google's algorithm and start sending traffic to people's website. And that turned into a residual revenue stream, which allowed me to build one of the fastest growing companies in the US. Fast forward many years later, I realized that not every customer is created equal. Some customers are only able to spend a few $100s a month, and eventually they just go out of business anyway, because most businesses go out of business within 3 to 5 years. And so I had this natural churn every couple of years where I would lose most of my clients and I would have to win back most of my clients. And I was stuck in this small business world of churn. So I had to figure out how to get bigger clients that last longer, that are able to invest more. And that's where LinkedIn came in and relationship building. And eventually people started asking me, Joe, teach me how to use LinkedIn, teach me how you reverse engineered LinkedIn and all the different tacks. And so I created an education program called Evergreen that teaches people how to leverage LinkedIn. After training over 1,000 companies on how to leverage LinkedIn, what I realized is a lot of people don't have the time to do all the activities that I give them to do each day on LinkedIn. You don't have the time to do the things that you need to do to get exposure, to build credibility, to expand your network, to book meetings. And so that's where AI comes in. Last year, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and the world took on a storm. In 5 days, they got 1 million users. In 2 months, they had 100 million users, the fastest growing piece of software in the history of the world. And it really changed the world in terms of our ability to access this incredible artificial intelligence to be able to expand our business even for small businesses. And so for me, I really embraced it. I jumped into it. I've been using AI for many, many years, but using it on this level with the amount of accessibility with prompt engineering and teaching people how to do it is really fantastic. And so I started teaching people how to use AI, and then I realized there's an opportunity to build a piece of software to be able to integrate using AI inside LinkedIn. And so I built this new technology called EVAY, which is a personal assistant for LinkedIn, helping people be able to leverage LinkedIn. And now I'm on a journey to give 1 million people a voice on LinkedIn using artificial intelligence. We have thousands of people that are currently using our AI. They're loving it. We have hundreds of positive reviews, and people are really, really happy with it. And so I'm excited about the impact I can make in somebody's life when I give them a voice, because until now, people are afraid. They have fears, they're stuck, they have writer's block, they're not sure what to say, they don't have the right strategy, they don't have the time. There's a lot of excuses. Maybe they don't even have money. But with our tool, they can get started for free, they can mess with it, they can use it, they can optimize their profile, and it's really a game changer.
I imagine I'm visioning a business owner going in, seeing a post and go, well, I don't know what to say, so I'll just click the like box and then leave it at that. And of course, that's not quite good enough. And for these businesses that we turn to and try to help, the challenge is always to build that customer loyalty. which can be a challenge, obviously, because there's so many products and companies to choose from out there. So when you're building customer loyalty, you're having these training sessions to help them learn these new skills. But I can also see them coming to you going, boy, I don't know. I don't know about AI. So rather than ask you what you teach them, because it could be multifaceted, let's break it down to a couple of questions. What's the first thing you teach them? And then how often do you have to go back and retrain them or add to their training?
Well, step number one is I want to teach them the benefits. People are not going to do things for features. People are going to do things for benefits. People want to know, why is this important? So I teach people that you need exposure, you need credibility, and you need meetings. Those are the benefits from using LinkedIn properly. If you know how to use LinkedIn, people will know you. People will trust you. People will like you. And for people to do business with you, they have to know you, like you, and trust you. Everyone heard that before, but how to do that is very difficult. But if you understand that LinkedIn is a method for you to be able to get those high quality meetings, build that credibility, and get that exposure for free, then now you're paying attention. Once you're paying attention, and I kind of drill that into you, hey, LinkedIn's the place. LinkedIn now has 1 billion members. They're growing to 3 billion. Microsoft paid $26.2 billion for LinkedIn. 80% of B2B leads come directly from LinkedIn. Once you understand these concepts, you understand why it's important for you to start paying attention. Now it's time for you to invest your time and energy in just 15 minutes a day. That's what I require from people. Now, people say, I don't have 15 minutes a day. I say, everybody has 15 minutes a day. You have 15 minutes a day to sit on the toilet and swipe, 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 swipe. You have 15 minutes to take a moment and figure out, what am I going to do to grow my business? And there are really 3 things I teach people how to do. Number 1 is post. Most people are ghosting. They're not posting. So I tell somebody, take a moment and post something. You don't have to post every day, but if you post at least once a week, you're going to get a lot more value. If you're not sure what to post, we have an idea generator that will generate all the ideas for you based on who you are. It'll write up the entire post with a hook, with main points, with a call to action, with hashtags, all done for you. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to worry about all the technicalities of posting. We basically tell you, hey, post once a week. If you can post once a day, great. But you already have followers. Every person who connects with you on LinkedIn is already a follower of yours. You can have up to 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. It's the only social platform in the world that's a professional social network where every connection becomes a follower. Mitch, I sent you a connection request on LinkedIn. As soon as you accept that connection request, you will be one of my followers. This is a rapid way for people to gain followers, and they don't even know that, because on Instagram or TikTok, if you follow somebody else, they don't automatically follow you back. On Twitter, if I follow Elon Musk is not following me back, or Alex Hermosi. But if I connect with Alex Hermosi, now Alex Hermosi is my follower. That is huge. I have Alex Hermosi, the author of $100 Million Offer, as my follower on LinkedIn. That is huge. That is powerful. And so think about the fact that you can get up to 30,000 followers on LinkedIn. People don't even know that this is a thing. And I'm on a mission to educate people so I can help 1 million people find their voice on AI. So that's the first thing, posting. The second thing is engaging. Building credibility means being real. How do you show that you're real? If I go to Diane's post and I see that she posted something and I leave a comment on her post, now she sees me as a real person. Now, I may not have the time to think about what to write as a comment. That's where the AI comes in. The AI gets to learn who you are and your voice, and will draft the comment for you. It won't do it for you, but it'll draft it for you. And then you can decide if you want to edit it or post it. But it's a lot easier to edit something than it is for you to come up with the comment to begin with. And so it'll draft a comment based on your tone, based on your personality, based on your voice, based on the sentiment of the message and what's relevant, what makes sense. And then the third thing I would say is, if you want to be successful on LinkedIn, you got to expand your connections and book meetings. And that means sending direct messages to people. And our AI wrote the note, Mitch, for our connection request. I was looking for Jordan. I couldn't find him. But I found you, Mitch, and I had the AI write a note for you. And then also, if I want to send a message to somebody, the AI can write the messages as well. It's not going to automate it, because automating things on LinkedIn is against their terms and conditions. So we want to comply with LinkedIn's terms, because we don't want anyone to risk their account. We don't even ask you for access to your LinkedIn account. We literally are just a content assistant to help people be more successful on LinkedIn.
That's really interesting. Just the entire notion of the AI being able to develop a persona. So, how often does it take a user deploying that technology to develop a persona? And, how effective is that? And how much time does it take for it to become effective for users to connect with people on LinkedIn?
Well, it doesn't take much time to develop a persona because our AI is smart enough to be able to take a framework that we trained it with and then be able to pull all the information off your LinkedIn page. So if you have
Wow.
any information on your LinkedIn page, for example, these are some pieces of information that everyone has on their LinkedIn page: first name, last name, company name, where they work, how long they worked there, where they worked before, their education. That's just a few pieces of information that I can get right off your profile. I can't get that on Instagram. Can't get that on Twitter, can't get that on TikTok, can't get that on Snapchat, can't get that on any other platform. But on LinkedIn, you're giving me a lot of information just by existing on LinkedIn. So I take a framework that I've been using for my clients for many years, and then I put that into an AI that automatically will type all this information up. Plus, if you've ever posted in the past, I will take your information about you posting in the past, and I will figure out your tone, your voice, the information, and how your style of posting, and then the AI gets trained on that as well. So it makes it really easy. You don't have to sit there and reinvent the wheel or think about it. We will train the AI not only on yourself as an individual, but also on your company page. So if you want to post as a company page or you want to leave comments as a company page, LinkedIn has the ability to do that. And with our AI, you can create personas for you as an author, for you as a radio jockey, for you as a father, for you as a thought leader. And then you could have multiple personas, but also for the multiple companies that you might represent.
Okay.
I love all that. And I use Evie AI twice a week, every week, and just love your product. I would tell you that once I went in and I made my persona, it made a huge difference. That was really cool because it was so much more of my voice that I was reading back. But I still go in there always and customize just a bit so I have that personal touch. Do you think that's important?
I think it's extremely important for people to add the personal touch to any type of communication. Anytime you have a computer getting involved, it's never going to be perfect. No matter how perfect it looks, you can always add your touch to it. You can always add your salt and pepper. You could always add your smile. You could always add an emoji. There's always something that you can add or remove from an automatic communication that will improve that automatic communication. So for me, my why is to find a better way. That's my why. I'm always looking for a better way to do everything that I do. And so I always recommend people to take a moment and think about how can you improve what you're doing? And if there's a way that you can improve what you're doing by adding a little touch of your own personality, a little touch of gold, I always recommend doing that because customization goes a long way in terms of building a relationship. People want to know that you actually took the time and you actually care.
Joe, one of the things that your AI probably told you that's common between the three of us is we're all former journalists. So when I saw in the podcast notes that you had a story to tell us about, media training and appearing on Fox Business, it piqued all of our interest. We'd love to hear that story and a little bit more about how media training was so beneficial for you. And it sounds like you maybe got into a sticky situation.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that a lot of people listen to the word media training and it sounds like this big, scary thing that you need to learn how to be on the media before they grill you and turn you into chopped liver. They're not going to turn you into chopped liver after the fact. But I was scared, going into Fox Studios in Manhattan on 6th Avenue and they sent a limousine for me, they picked me up from the office. I was like, I could take the train. They're like, no, we're going to send a limo. We're going to pick you up. We're going to drop you off in front. We're going to escort you in. We're going to put powder on your face. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What am I, the president of the United States? I was having palpitations. I was losing it. I was also much more overweight than I am today. So I was just freaking out. And my PR trainer, my PR consultant sat me down and said, listen, Joe, if you're going to be scared of getting on, everyone's going to see your fright and you're going to do terrible automatically. You can't be scared of this. You got to treat the journalist like your journalist is your friend because they're your friend. They might grill you and ask you some questions, but don't worry about being grilled because it's nice and toasty when you're being grilled. You don't have to take things personally. Don't allow it to attack your ego. Instead, go with the flow. If somebody asks you a question and you don't have the answer to the question, you still answer. You don't always have to answer the exact answer to the question because they're just making conversation with you. They might say, what's the price of tea in China? And then you talk about whatever you need to talk about because they're trying to make things interesting. And as long as it's relevant to what they're saying and you're not totally going off topic, but you're somehow veering into it or saying, that's a really great question. And I'm going to get to that. But you know what? What I want to share right now is something that's extremely important that directly correlates to what you're saying. and then you go wherever you want to go. And if they want to interrupt you, they'll interrupt you. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And so me doing some breathing exercises, relaxing, saying a mantra to myself, realizing that if not for this training, I would go in cold and I wouldn't know what to do. So I'm a big proponent of hiring people like Diane and people like Mitch and people like Jordan to help you with media training, because it is essential for you to have the right training, because otherwise you're going to have fear, and fear stops you from being yourself. Everybody needs coaching. Everybody needs training. What is the difference between an athlete and an amateur is that the athlete has a coach, that the athlete does training. If you take a look at the greatness of Michael Jordan or of any of the greats, you're going to see that they had the coaches, they had the training, they had the practice. And so what I want to say is it's extremely important for people to be able to get this training. It's extremely important for me to get the training. I ended up going on stage and I ended up doing great in front of 35 million eyeballs. And it was really, really great. I expected to get millions and millions of dollars of revenue. The only person that ended up calling me from that interview was a rabbi that wanted a donation. And he's like, Joe, I saw you were on Fox Business. I was watching the TV. I was like, Rabbi, I thought rabbis don't watch TV. What were you doing watching TV? He's like, that's for later. We'll talk about that later. Can you do $18,000? Can you sponsor? Can you sponsor us? Finally, you made it. You're on the Inc. 500, one of the fastest growing. You're on Fox Business. Can you make it? I was like, Rabbi, we need to talk about this TV issue that you have. You're watching TV. You should be learning Torah. What's going on, Rabbi? But that's basically what happened as a result of it. I ended up generating millions of dollars, but it's because what I did after, which is every time I did a seminar, I played my Fox Business episode. I posted it all over social media. I leveraged it over and over and over as credibility, using the icon, using the credibility logos, and making sure that I leveraged it in my introductions and my bio, and using it on social media many, many times, taking screenshots of it. It was very, very powerful what I was able to do. So it's very important to get media. It's very important to get media in the right way, to get trained on what to say during the media, so you don't just go off topic and you start losing it. But for me, if I wouldn't have had that training, I totally would have went off and just frozen and not been sure what to say or how to do it. So I'm grateful that I invested in hiring the right trainer, the right coach that helped me tremendously.
We talk to a lot of our clients and tell them it's okay to be a little bit nervous. In fact, it probably will help you because you'll have energy and you'll present a little bit better. The opposite of that would be sitting on your couch trying to sing when you're sleepy. It just doesn't work. Would you agree with that? Did you feel a little nervousness? Did that help you in some way?
I think that the concept of nervousness is the same idea as excitement.
Yeah.
So in your body doesn't know the difference between being nervous and being excited. It's the same jittery feeling that you have. And if you can change the perspective, or you can change the story that you have in your head and tell yourself, hey, I'm really excited. I'm feeling all these jitters in my body, and it's not because I'm not going to do great. I'm going to do amazing. I'm already an expert. So if you're going on media, you should know that you're already an expert. You're not an idiot. You're not coming on as a moron. You already are an expert. You know what to say. You just have to get out of your own way and show up fully. And if you could show up fully, then you'll be able to make a difference for other people.
It's so true. When you can just relax into that and let your true personality come through, that comes through the camera, it comes through the radio, it comes through to the reporter. If it's a print reporter, it makes all the difference. I'm interested, when you did Fox Business or any of the other myriad of things, is there anything that surprises you sometimes when you go in and you're like, wow, I wasn't ready for that one, or that was interesting, I hope I don't have to do that again? Any of those types of things happen?
I think that it feels a lot longer, like it's gonna be a lot longer than it is. Like you walk in and then you walk out in like 5 seconds, and even though it was a 5-7 minute interview, it's just like, did we finish? Is it done? All this prepped, all this nervousness, all this driving in a limo and getting makeup done and waiting in the green room, like just all that, and then all of a sudden you just show up, you do it, and then you leave and it's done. Like what? It happens so quick. It's like a flash in your life. It's just like whoosh. So I'm surprised at that. And also, sometimes you're going to be challenged. And I was challenged on stage many times. And you got to just roll with the punches and then not allow yourself to get caught up and try to like fix things or even apologize. Like I was, prompted to apologize for myself. I was just going to say, oh, I'm so sorry or whatever. But don't, just keep moving forward. Just drive forward. have those ethos, logos, and pathos and kind of drive forward and allow yourself to be the expert that you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so important to do that. And because you're such an expert, I want to move on to what we call brand resiliency, where we're looking to the future. And this is actually my favorite part of the podcast. We always are looking forward to see what kind of challenges or maybe crises might be coming around the bend that we have to be prepared for. Because if you're prepared for them, you're not a deer in the headlights. When they happen, you have a plan, you can sleep better at night. And from a PR perspective, it's really important to kind of know where you're going. What are some of the things that you're looking to happen that could be issues or challenges coming down the pike when we're talking about AI, especially some things that small business owners should be thinking about?
I think that people are really scared of the AI killing them.
True.
Now, let's just take a moment and acknowledge the fear that people have that, hey, AI is going to hurt us. It's going to kill us. It's going to ruin us. It's going to take us over. It's going to destroy our jobs. And it's going to destroy our family. It's going to destroy our relationships. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, AI is going to become my husband's girlfriend, or it's going to become my wife's boyfriend, and they're not going to be interested in me. I don't think that AI is going to hurt anybody. I think that people using AI are going to use it as a tool. You know, like AI itself is not going to take over jobs. People that use AI are going to take over the jobs of people that don't use AI. AI is technology. It's a tool, and human beings have the ability to learn how to use it, to leverage it, and to do good things. Unfortunately, human beings can also do bad things with AI. So what I want to say is learn how to use AI to protect yourself. The same AI that can hurt you can protect you. And so learn how to leverage AI. Don't be afraid of it, and realize that right now the AI is not smart enough to do any of that stuff that we're afraid of. It's not even close to being smart enough to do any of that stuff. And we don't have the technology for AI to do all that we're afraid of it doing. But instead, what you want to do is you want to become friends with it so that you no longer have that fear. You want to understand it, because a lot of the times we fear things that we don't understand. I used to be afraid of dogs because growing up, I grew up in like a religious society, and they didn't accept dogs, and dogs wasn't a thing that people had. People didn't have pets in our community. And so in the whole entire world, everybody has pets. Think about it. Your neighborhood, there's more dogs than kids. So if you think about that for a second, like, how could I be afraid of a dog if they're just so lovable and so yummy, and they just lick you, and they're just so happy, and they would never hurt you no matter what? But the fact is, every time I walked by a dog and they barked, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, now a dog barks at me. I walk over to the dog. I'm like, what's going on, puppy face? What's going on? What do you need a treat? What are you upset? Should I talk to you like I'm your Jewish grandmother? What's going on? So I'll just walk over to any dog and I'll pet them. Obviously, I'll make them smell me and build trust or whatever. But, you know, the fact is that if you're afraid of something, if you don't know something, you'll be afraid of it. And if you're afraid of something, you're not going to interact with it. And if you don't interact with it, you're going to build even more fear. One of the greatest things about AI is that when you interact with it, you become friends with it, it makes your life easier. It ends up saving you a ton of time. And if you train it correctly, it'll do things the right way. That's the key. You want to learn how to do things the right way with the artificial intelligence. You can't expect AI to be trained, just like you can't expect an employee to come in trained. We think, oh, we'll hire an employee, they'll know how to do sales, and we'll be successful. Wrong. You need to bring in the employee. You got to train them into your systems and processes. You got to teach them your way. And then you got to continuously train them on the latest technologies in your industry. And if you're not doing that, you're going to fail. So I highly recommend you consider thinking about how are you going to learn how to train AI. We have a master class. We call it Evergreen AI, where we train people every single month for 3 hours a month on how to leverage artificial intelligence for business development. We sit down and we walk people through the step-by-step process to do that. People need to join programs like that to get trained so that they eliminate their fear and they start leveraging those tools to help them be more successful.
I think it's really interesting, you know, when you're looking at AI, because it is scary, you know, for a lot of people. And, you know, we've definitely covered that kind of at length here, but there's also a lot of opportunity here, Joe. And one of the things that you're providing is training to kind of allow people to tap into that opportunity. Personally, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to this technology? Because it almost seems like it's evolving daily.
What I'm looking forward to using this technology is when we have enough people using it, that people get really smart about its training. That's really the key. When you learn how to properly train it and realize this is not to replace you, but to assist you, and then you learn how to properly train it and how to build a relationship with it in a way that doesn't make you seem fake or authentic or anything like that, but instead you actually build a relationship with it, then people will stop being afraid of it. People won't look at it as inauthentic. That's what I'm looking forward to. Right now, some people think that it's inauthentic to use AI. The second they hear, "Oh, you used AI to reply," I don't want that. I want you to manually type everything, even if you type the same thing that the AI could have typed for you. I want to see typos in your response, baby. I want to see terrible grammar. I want to see a selfie of you with no teeth, baby. Take off those dentures. It's inauthentic. Yeah, I went a little too far there, but you get my point.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we, as former journalists, I have a certain pride when I'm putting together something for a client and I write it myself because that's what I do. And occasionally I'll look and I'll use AI to go, let's see what this computers can come up with. And sometimes it has a couple great ideas, and other times it's like, no, it doesn't quite get it. So my question for you is, I know a lot of people look at AI and they think, oh, wait a minute, it's going to dumb me down. I'm going to lose my creativity. And besides, I'm a small business. I can't afford that. What do you tell those folks?
If you think that you can't afford free,
Okay.
then let's talk about that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't afford a free AI. Like, if you go to evyai.com, you can use it for free to optimize your profile. And if you think it'll dumb you down, you should see how sophisticated the AI can be. It can be extremely whimsical, philosophical, really, really smart. I have all those built-in personalities and tones into my AI. If it comes off like corporate jargon and like BS, it's because you haven't sat down and properly trained the AI to make it sound like you. You could literally make the AI sound exactly like you using all the right phrases. And if you think that it's not really you, then think about who you are. Where did you get your philosophy? Where did you get your writing style? You think you just woke up out of the womb and you knew how to speak English and you had your writing style? No, you took it from somebody else. The difference between an author and a plagiarizer is that a plagiarizer steals from one person, but an author steals from many. The reality is that you got your style from different people and you put your own style based on the ideas of other people. And our ego wants us to believe that we are unique and that we're the only one, and our style is our style if we physically wrote it. The reality is that even you physically writing it is not you, because you got nothing from you, because you didn't exist before you and you had to get it from somewhere else. You didn't just magically have your style from scratch. It didn't just come from nowhere. It didn't just come from your hip. It came from you going to school, from you listening to teachers, from you reading books, from you getting influenced by the media, from you getting influenced by life, by society, by wherever you got your narrative and perspectives from. The reality is we all get influenced. Every piece of music was copied from somebody else. There's nothing new under the sun. So take a moment, take a step back, allow yourself to relax and realize, don't say, is AI good or is AI bad? Say, how can I leverage AI in a way that is consistent with my values, that is consistent with my authenticity, that is consistent with my comfort zone, that is consistent with what I'm trying to accomplish in my life and the voice that I want to have. And if I don't know how to train it, who can help me train it? Not, oh, I've tried it and it didn't work, I'm not going to use it anymore. Or it's too expensive. Oh, I didn't know it was free. Oh, it's too expensive for me to spend the time to learn how to use the free tools. And if you want to pay for it, there are tools that cost, I don't know, maybe 2 cents a word or a tenth of 2 cents a word, or how about unlimited for $20 a month or whatever. There are tools that you could use that are extremely affordable. I used to have to pay a video editor $250 to edit one video for me. Now I pay the AI $250 a year and it edits 1,000 videos for me. Think about that.
Wow. All right. Quite the impact. Well, Joe, this was awesome. Some great information here for those people who are thinking about sticking their toe into AI, but really need to commit. Use that 15 minutes a day you suggested. So Joe Apfelbaum from Evy AI, that's EVYAI, and evergreen.com. Thank you for joining us for this Move the Stairs podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. And if you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can find me at joelinkedin.com. I bought that URL and I sent it directly to my LinkedIn profile, so it makes it easy for people to find me. So it's joelinkedin.com. Mitch, thank you for having me. Diane, thank you for having me. And Jordan, thank you for producing and having me. I'm really excited about the impact this is going to make on people's lives. And if you guys listen to this, hit me up and letting me know that you heard this. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much, Joe.
What a great conversation, guys. Oh my gosh. Talk about somebody who gets you energized about AI.
Exactly.
That is so fun. And the fact that I know personally, and I have to reiterate what Joe said, there's very little that we do without having an editor come in and fix it and make it better. And kind of, this is like, now we're getting the information from AI. At least this is how I look at it. I can go in and fix it and make it better. And when it comes to customer loyalty, you still have that personal touch. And that's really, really important. I would say never take anything, straight from AI and send it out. Make sure that it has that personal touch, but those personas make all the difference, so that your voice is really coming through, the keywords that you really care about in your business. I mean, talk about how you can brand in the discussions. And I do find so many times, especially on LinkedIn, that when I'm commenting, if I'm writing the comment, there might be 1 or 2 lines. If I put it into Evie AI, I'm going to get 3 or 4 lines out of it. And many times it's like, oh, that was really good. That's fantastic. And I'm going to use that. And then I just do my little thing in there and I'm done. And it really is a huge time saver. And instead of dumbing me down, it really helps my creative process. So all of that is great when you're talking to customers and you're having that constant interaction and building those relationships that we know are so important for brand protection.
I was challenging him a little bit, by not losing yourself in AI. But what you're saying, what your experience has been when he's talking about building customer loyalty, it helps you share your story on LinkedIn. Because I'm guilty of this. You look on a post, you think, I don't have time. I'm just going to click like. And it will help you so much more if you go beyond that.
Right.
And when he talked about inside media relations, it's fantastic. He wanted some training, because the important point is you are the expert in your business. You may not be used to sitting on the Good Morning America set, but you still have something to share. And so thinking that through and preparing yourself and using that energy, that little bit of nervousness, will help you shine through and tell your business story.
I think too, lastly, just to put a bow on the conversation, looking at brand resiliency, one of the best things that you can do as a small business owner, or a business owner in general, is learn how you can leverage AI. Because AI is not going to take your job, but learning how to use AI, I look at ChatGPT as my personal assistant, right? And that's a personal assistant that's on the payroll for $20 a month. Joe pointed that out too. The idea of paying a video editor $250 per video versus leveraging AI technology that edits thousands of videos for $250 a year. There's a lot of power in that. And even if it's scary, allowing yourself to be afraid, but also overcoming that fear to sit down and say, this is something I don't understand, but I'm going to commit to learning it, can be really powerful for you and your business.
Yeah, he said, always add a touch of you. Which is true. So you're never letting AI take over. It's just it's a great companion.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank Joe again, Joe Apfelbaum from Evie AI and Evergreen AI, which is the training part of Evie AI. And again, phenomenal company. They do great work. It's going to make your life easier. And as he said, it's all about how you train it, so you can feel good about what you're doing and how it's working. And we really enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll join us again for our next episode of Move the Stairs.